you have a Windrunner as a secondary core.
Yep.
And what you mentioned about the Clockwork, that I was a little bit puzzled by that pick. They picked it into Rubik, who's a great hero in lane against him, one of the absolute best counters. You just throw him out of cogs. And you picked it into two heroes that, in this meta game right now, will very naturally get a 4-staff in the Slardar. And you don't generally see it as a first pickup on Windranger, but when you're playing against a Clockwork, she's one of the heroes that can actually really utilize the item very well. So to me, this is not that great of a Clockwork draft. And I think that was also when EG ran out of time almost. They had 2 seconds left and they had to pick something. And Fnatic get both bounty runes off to a really good start here.
They started posturing. They put the Anti-Mage up on the Dire side cliff right underneath the Dire Observer wall. So EG knew exactly where Black was, and it bought them space in the bottom lane. Then EG realized they were running under a potential double crush from Ohio, and they're still only seeing the Anti-Mage at that point. So they didn't want to get themselves into this fight where they'd lose first blood. But now you have Windranger with a really good setup against Arteezy, and Arteezy's in desperate need of souls. He starts with the Necro Mastery, he's not starting with the Razors. So is this going to be the passive lane? Like, you got Lich and SF together. You don't rely on Razors, you rely on Arteezy's last hitting ability.
Yeah, this should be fine for EG, especially when Lich hits level 2. He could just start bullying the Windranger very much. But with Mushi helping out here in the Rubik, and even a smoke here from Lina, actually, which I don't know if EG saw this coming. PPD did go out to stack the jungle, so it might have been more fortunate than actually planned that they dodged this gank. At the same time, though, you should say, should Fnatic actually try for the smoke gank when the lane is in the position it's in? It's very difficult for them to get in on this. Arteezy playing very safe.
Yeah, he doesn't want to give anything up. It's the SF. Like, do you even need to play aggressive when you're SF? You rely on stacks, you rely on the Lich, as you said, hitting that level 2, and you just end up winning the 5 to 10 minute mark because you've got stacks to really work on. You can just flash farm and everything. And you got moments like this where DJ tries to get aggressive, but if that was a level 2 race from Arteezy, he'd be looking at a potential kill on the Windranger instead.
Yeah, the moment Lich hits level 2, this lane gets so much harder for the Windranger, because now he has to start digging into his regen. Only has 2 tangos that were pooled in 1 salve, so if he doesn't manage to get enough farm for the bottle, they can actually force him out of lane.
Is this where you look at the weakness of the supports on Fnatic? Like, you see the early smoke gank coming in, you have the Rubik and the Lina. Are they enough to make sure they can get a kill on the SF without having to pop smoke every time?
Yeah, without smoking, it's difficult. If they catch them off guard by coming from above the stairs or going behind the tower, then they could probably do it. But yeah, the smoke play was the one that needed to work, and they probably tried it a little bit too early. EG and
Fierce really committing on this top lane, dropping the Tombstone with the Shadow Strike. Ohio gets a double crush, gets rid of the Tombstone, and with a follow-up drag back, it's not going to stop Sumail from blicking himself forward. There isn't enough damage to kill off their Slardar. It's only a level 1 Shadow Strike, and Mushi knows he's in trouble. He's hanging in the tree line while the creep wave's here. He needs extra support, and it's coming in. It's Selena on his way, but Mushi is already dead with a Lion Strike array. The controller's on the Queen of Pain, but Net doesn't have the damage to follow up and kill off Sumail. So at this point, Mushi is down, but Fear needs to get himself out of here. They lose their courier at the same time. Fear taking so much damage from the tower. There's trouble for Sumail. He blinks himself forward. Net's underneath this Queen of Pain, and Sumail turns around for another kill. Ohio crush back off cooldown. He'll need another hit in here, and he's able to claim it. Sumail down for the count. Fear limping himself away on this top lane, and we now level up the board at 2 apiece.
Yeah, that courier kill, though, is very important. That should bring Fnatic up to speed again. I think the goal should be pretty even now. Yeah, slight lead for them, picking that up.
It's the Arteezy boots as well. Yep. So it actually has something of value on it.
He's doing a couple of jungle camps right now, though, so I guess the first minute or so that he loses of the courier's death time isn't that important, but I could definitely agree that could be a problem.
Courier snipe the other way. There's no speed boost on that courier.
Actually getting it.
Yep, they're going to take out the courier. But can they claim the Windranger as well? The Shadow Strike and the Frost Blast slowed down DJ.
Oh, Sumail's level 6. He should be very dead if this blink comes out. Oh.
You've got an illusion rune, however, which means DJ's going to be able to regen up nice and quick. Looks for the shackle. Can't latch it perfectly, however. And there's a Sonic Wave. Find the kill. Ohio couldn't arrive in time to get the stun off. And now they can try and turn. Mushi picking up onto Sumail. The blink is still on cooldown for now. Let's one last scream go. Slardar sprinting. He wants his way in. That range creep's giving the vision. In fact, Black has arrived. There's not enough mana for a mana void, and no one's really lost enough mana for him to really inflict a level of damage that would cause a critical kill for EG. So a big rotation coming in from Black for no real reward.
It does give Lina some time bottom though. The lane is not empty, so this is not that expensive going for an attempt like this. If he gets the kill with Mana Void, it's of course very much so worth it. But yeah, at the end of the day, perhaps not the best rotation out of Fnatic. And I wanted to mention, what do you think about this Lara skill build? Because to my knowledge, you almost always max Crush first, and he's gone 3 in Sprint. I don't seem to recall this being the norm right now.
As far as the sprint goes, I agree with you. This isn't the normal. Like going for an early point, like a 1 point up in sprint with boots first for an offlaner has been happening of late. But to go for the 3-1, that's, yeah, that 3-2, that's not as common. Because you always look for the crush. You look for that ensured damage as well as stun time.
It scales so well. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you compare the two abilities, you get 8% move speed out of sprint, which is great. Is
there a specific thing
necessary?
though? Like maybe it's to go up against like the Frost Blast. If you get the Frost Blast slow in comparison to like a level 3 sprint, does he gain a certain advantage? Like, because you're going up against a slow of a potential Undying Tombstone as well as the Frost Blast. These are your two controllers. Does that value point give you something?
I don't think that 8% speed makes that much of a difference. If you're slowed by a Frost Blast while you're sprinting, you're still slower than the enemy team. So I don't think it compensates for it. It's definitely true that there are more slows in this game that he can try to counteract to some extent with it, but yeah, I would have personally preferred to see this Luring Crush leveled up. It scales so incredibly well. That extra 0.3 seconds stun time and 50 damage, especially now that he's level 6. Now he has Amplify, so it deals more damage, but he doesn't have the skill point in it, so it's not that scary.
This is when I also start to wonder how EG approached the next point of the game. You're walking around now with a Slider who has level 6. Like, he moves up straight away, uses the Observer Wall to get the vision over on Sumail and amplifies him up. So they keep the vision and they understand that Sumail is going for the early Orchid build. Ohio still doesn't have this Blink Dagger, so doesn't have the aggression. Can you posture as Fnatic saying, we could be looking for a kill? Net's almost level 6. Can you make EG go into full defensive mode and buy more time for Black? I don't know about you, but the feeling is that Animage's Black's Animage, other way around, would easily be able to outcarry the EG heroes going into the late game.
Yeah, it's a timing window thing. I think EG's lineup will be very, very strong come minute 20-25, and they will look to start pushing with the Shadow Fiend probably getting a mech, the Undying having level 7 at least, probably higher.
This mech's pretty late though, because he went both treads as well as Aquila, as well as the full wand.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while. I also think if you had the mech right now, it would not be the time for them to push yet, because they're still missing the levels on the Undying, and they want the Orchid too for that, but...
Something else to note too, normally Fear has a little bit more success on his Undying. I'm saying that when he's got 33.3% of the kills of EG, aka 1. But he normally likes to go into that early Aghanim Scepter. I think he's like one of the very few people that actually prefer that direct build in. As top lane, Tombstone's down, Ohio. Oh, Mushi, that Soul Rip. It did enough damage from Fear to ensure the kill. Now we've got himself 50% of the kills for EG. And they're really attacking. Frost Armor up and pushing. No mech required. The Tombstone will make sure the creep wave remains at bay, and this tier 1 tower is done for. There's nothing Fnatic can do to stop this push.
Yeah, the tower had already taken too much damage before EG got here. Fnatic have good wave clear. They have Dragon Slave and Power Shot, so they could, and even Fate Bolt, so they can definitely defend towers, but not when the gank comes in like this. It catches them by surprise, and suddenly there's 4 heroes.
Oh,
nice
hook shot middle lane. Universe goes on DJ, but this is what we talked about. Mushi, so good with that Rubik up against the Clockwork, just throwing Universe back over on top of Sumail. So they can't find the kill, and this was a force. This was Fortification and a hookshot to try and catch him out, while Fnatic were trying to pressure the tier 1 tower in the mid to get a trade-off. EG commit TPs, they commit the first hookshot as well, and Black continues to farm on bottom lane.
It's fine. This is a very close game so far. I mean, we're only 10 minutes in, but just looking at the game plans unfold here, I think both teams are actually satisfied with the situation. The really important things that will happen will be in about that 10-minute... in about 10 minutes of time. Shadow Fiend actually went for an Overclub, so it looks like it's not going to be the mech build this game for
So who becomes their mech builder? Because right now...
Undying, or they get none.
Or you can put it onto PPD, but you'd be looking at like a 30-minute mech at this rate.
That's too late.
Yeah. There goes your mid-tower, so it was a simple chip off once that fortification was gone.
Arteezy's doing work bottom, though. Again, with Antony just rotating.
Oh, the shackle, because they can use catapults now. Arteezy trying to run away. DJ going to keep up with him with that focus fire. Arteezy dropping, but the extra control. Net's too far away. He had the Laguna Blade available as well, so they just needed one more controlling ability to lock down Arteezy, which would have ended in a kill.
How much damage did he get? He got 2/3 of the tower down here, so good play by Arteezy here, identifying that Fnatic had rotated in. Everyone into mid. Now DJ again. This time there's no Rubik to save him.
No, but they have Nat available and Universe. Laguna Blade down. That Soul Rip is going to do some work, and in fact, Fear with his ulti out and Tombstone down has the confidence just to push under Net. And I think Fnatic are cutting their losses. They'll accept the fact that Net is going to die next to DJ. But their return is that Slardar is able to get the free lane on top, so he's getting closer and closer towards this Blink Dagger, and Black moved off that lane before the gank came, so Black still hasn't died to this point and was farming the mid lane instead.
Fnatic needs to be careful they don't lose too many towers, though. This is the second one they lost in a very short span of time, and if they also end up losing the mid-tier one to another one of these plates from EG, it's a gank into tower. They've done it twice now. First top, now bottom. If they lose mid too, even if Black is farming well and they have a blink on Slardar, you still need to be able to find the opportunities. And losing map control against a team like EG's that is so good at 5-manning is very, very dangerous.
Looks like it's actually going to be an SMY build coming in from Arteezy. So he's not going in for the BKB build. A little bit of a surprise considering almost, in fact, all of the stuns apart from the bash from Slardar gets negated by the fact, by having a BKB.
Yeah, the dangerous thing about going BKB first, though, is that it's, this used to be the standard if you go back 2 years on Shadow Fiend, but the problem is going BKB first really lowers your farming speed. The Sanjin Yasha, you move faster, you kill creeps faster, so it's a better build-up. And of course, the danger with BKB is also, if you take a couple of bad fights in the start, when you have that 10-second BKB and the fights don't matter as much as they do later, losing those crucial seconds that you could have 30 minutes in instead of 15 is a pretty big deal. So I agree with not going BKB first, but he definitely needs it this year later.
Yeah, it'll come up later. As Arteezy just keeps that bottom lane at bay. A couple of raises, the creep wave gets mopped up, and then there's no push really coming out from Fnatic. They just have to wait it out and keep moving across the map, fighting farm. Black still doesn't have this Battle Fury yet, 13 minutes in. Went for the treads as well as the Perseverance and the Ring of Basilius. So he's not just going for that raw rush. And Ohio, he actually has the blink now. So critical timing at 13:20. That blink dagger comes up, and he's waiting for the opportunity on top, and Lena's already rotating for the chance as well. It's almost like they have to use, they use Net as bait. Because if they come in any closer, Ohio's going to reveal he has the blink dagger. And Samael is playing this perfectly. He knows something is up. Ohio's gone missing, and this is the right time for the blink dagger.
Oh, he's going to try for CS now, though.
Yeah, he's too close. Crush up, amplifications on as well, and with Laguna Blade, they have enough damage. Samael gets picked, and patience was not a virtue displayed for long enough.
Is under attack.
I'm wondering what triggered him moving forward. If he saw one other hero suddenly, I think the ward EG just planted down here actually got intelligence of 1 or 2 heroes, but he didn't see the ones he needed to see, and of course the blink dagger also surprised. So good play from Fnatic, and they try to transition it into some push of their own this time.
It actually gives them a good counter as well, because with this kill coming out, you've now got Net almost at a 4-star. So you got Telekinesis, Universe. Okay, he's in a bit of trouble here, being picked up and thrown back onto the other side of his cogs, and then a stolen cogs pushing him down. Black just needs to Mana Void to get the kill, but Wind Ranger, DJ with the power shot, will be the one to kill secure it.
And this should stop EG from advancing too much into this mid lane. So another very important kill for Fnatic. And I don't know if EG are satisfied now, because I think after they got those 2 towers and started putting pressure, they were like, this is going very well. But even just these last 2 or 3 minutes, they're losing quite a bit of momentum on this. And maybe, actually, they just decide, you know what, we're still going to go mid with 4 heroes right now, and then Clockwork the TPN.
Yeah. He's got a hook shot to jump into the fight anyway.
They're not getting in, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of support coming in from Fnatic.
4 staff already on the Lina, by the way. I'm not sure you mentioned it, but
yeah, just before on the top.
Yeah, so they have the first force. I think Slardar, yeah, he's also getting one. Very standard nowadays. In the past, you would generally get Blink BKB. Now Blink Force is the go-to build. This Clockwork is going to have a very, very hard game, and it hasn't been easy so far either.
It's funny because coming into the major, the big question I had around EG was not really how Samael and Arteezy would work, because you understand these 2 boys have so much talent that they could just be put into almost any position and they'll still be able to bring the most out of it. But the big pressure is on the back of the initiation which EG have. And there's only one hero, one player, it's Universe, who's been asked of so much in this game. And he's being countered by the fact they already picked Clockwork into the Rubik, and now he's up against 4-staff. And when he isolates himself inside the cogs, even the Lina with the Line Strike Array is good against him. Clockwork, now here comes your hook shot forward. Net just gets burned away almost instantly with a scream coming in from Samael. They're able to find that instant damage. It's not a healthy world for Arteezy. Yeah, he came very far underneath that tower, but Fnatic don't want to fight this. They're on opposite lanes. Black takes out the tier 1 towers. They already get the trade. In fact, they're going to get a better trade here. 1 hero for 2 tier 1 towers. The fortification gets burned. Ohio can't finish this. He has to blink away. But at least they know where EG is moving with their TP support up. And in fact, with the rotation of DJ, a Fnatic looking to have a crack here.
Has been denied.
I could try for it, but I don't think Arteezy's going to
Dire's
give them the
bottom
opportunity.
tower
Or maybe he
is
is.
under
He's going to
attack.
go for the camp.
A little bit of a body block, DJ. He got in the way of Slaughter just for a fraction of a second. It may not have made the biggest difference in the world, but it could have been the potential of stunning up Arteezy or not, which would have ensured a kill. Even with his life, there's no instant burst heal on this SF.
I think Fnatic are very, very happy with the outcome of that. Sure, the tower got denied. I do think, yeah, PPD got the deny on that.
it was
lich,
Knight on
but
top.
It's still more than good enough for them. If you jump into this game right now and you ask, just based on lineup and position in the game, not the players themselves, what position you'd rather be in, I would pick Fnatic's situation in this game right now, that's for sure.
Because you got Nanny Mage, who's nicely farmed up.
Farm, Slaughter got the blink early. They're getting multiple 4-steps against Clockwork. They have better late game, in my opinion. They didn't lose enough towers at minute 20 for me to give EG the advantage. But here's the wild card of the game, of course, the dire Roshan advantage with Shadow Demon. And it looks like Fnatic don't have any idea. Actually, they did ping it with Ohio.
The Observer Ward. There's an Observer Ward up on the hill to the north, and it's scanning this out. Now, the question is going to be who else can they get? And they find Universe out of position with Laguna Blade. The Observer Ward gave them all the information they needed to. And EG, now they've got the tougher question. Do they finish this? You've got DJ who's focusing the tier 2 tower in the mid. And in fact, with the reveal of the Animage on top, yeah, they're not going to do anything about this. In fact, Fnatic just try and go for the damage into the tier 2 tower as a trade-off. They get the fortification out and then retreat. Kill on Clockwork for the trade of Roshan. But now the question then poses, what can EG do with this Aegis the Immortal? Is this when they push? Is this when they attack?
I think this is when they want to, but once again, I don't think their lead is significant enough to make this easy. Of course, they could put Arteezy in the front line, and one thing we haven't talked about too much is that, yes, Fnatic have great wave clear, but their single target of bringing down this Aegis without committing right now it's difficult. They have Laguna Blade, which is nice, but in order to kill off Arteezy, they have to commit someone into close range, either Slardar or the Anti-Mage, and they don't really want to do that right now. So I think Fnatic will just split push the best they can, and if they have to sacrifice one tower, they might just do that. How many 4-steps do they have?
It's about to be 2.
It's about to be 2. No, it's about to be 3, because Rubik almost has his. Slardar is, I guess, yeah, he's 1,000 off, so not that close.
They're looking at a 3-4 staff lineup then. Ohio, Ned, as well as Mooshi together. Animage obviously has his blink, so he won't be controlled from that. And in fact, Black, like you know what's going through Black's mind. Apart from golden coins, you're looking at now a Vlad's as well as a Battle Fury. He's always going to be high life. He can always do this kind of thing. Pressure underneath the tier 2 tower, because he understands with a little bit of farm, with a little bit of time, he's always going to be able to take out these towers. And because EG used their fortification on the tier 2 tower in mid, they have to TP back. But it was a trap. Ohio was waiting. Fear thought he would be enough, but obviously wrong. Now they take the kill on Fear as well as the tower. The Clockwork hookshot up, however, is going to try and cancel this. Ohio, he doesn't have a way out, doesn't have that 4-staff yet. Wants to buy up the pieces for it, but just doesn't really have the time. But Ohio, yeah, you can't run away from that. Not with a level 4 rocket available for Universe.
What a great hookshot that was. That was absolutely perfect. He had to hit exactly Slaughter. I think if he doesn't hit Slaughter alone, if he hits Slaughter and Antimage and cogs them both in, he kills neither. Because then AM can tank some of the damage and then blink out. But he got Slaughter isolated and knocked away the Antimage. So very nice play by Universe there.
Check out the build as well from Slaughter. Like, we're changing up the build. I was wondering if he's just going to buy the 4-staff and go into the buy the staff and go into the 4-staff. But he gets the start of a BKB with the Ogre Club instead.
Okay, I guess the play call from Fnatic is just, you know what, both of our supports have got enough gold. This is something you can't plan for early in the game, that you're like, don't worry, minute 20, both our supports will have a 4-staff. But then when you see how the game is going, you can obviously just adjust your build a little bit, and Ring of Regen costs him almost nothing. So.
That's really good for Fnatic as well. Like, just a sign for them coming into this tournament. The fact they can adapt on the fly. They're just not locked into their own worlds as players, which was always the fear with a team that had Black in it. We can flag him as like a great export from Europe over into Asia, but it was always that Black is a farm hero, Black is a farm player. That's all it really goes for him. And you kind of like get yourself like tunnel vision into this. But Fnatic adapting on the fly. Looking good for them. And 6-9, so not many kills in this game. But as you said, this is really a game of timing. And this Aegis timing is, well, with 3 minutes through that 5 minutes. And with only 2 minutes left for EG with that Aegis Immortal, I'm wondering now, what can they achieve?
Yeah, I'm very positively surprised by Fnatic in this game. I think their play calls have been very, very good. There's been very few mistakes relative to what we've seen from them in the past where they've been kind of unstable. They look like they're on form, at least in this game, and you can tell they're playing against a world-class team like EG, and they keep counterplaying them to the extent that EG still haven't taken a tier 2 tower. They keep trying for it. They haven't even dealt damage to it in the mid lane yet. They constantly get split pushed and have to go back, and I think it's pretty clear that EG are very frustrated with the situation that they can't get to play their lineup the way they want, and now Universe is calling it.
Yeah, a quick pop. PPD is going to throw out that Lich ulti as well, as the bounce will continue. Blink away is if I can make it a little bit difficult as Arteezy. He comes in and takes out the Lina. So Fnatic, they had to try and separate themselves. Oh, Haya's just TPing out of here. They don't want to get really involved. Black still on the front lines, keeping the attention of Arteezy up here. And maybe they find another one on bottom lane. What a shackle from TJ. Sumail trying to get a little too aggressive there on Ohio. And he gets punished for it pretty hard. That just goes towards that BKB bank of Ohio. What a good thing he had that Oak Club as well.
Yeah.
The extra life.
That's true. Or maybe he could have had a 4-staff instead, and then that could have worked too. But I don't think so.
Top lane. There's the jump in's going to come in from Black. Arteezy got no mana. Mushy has to 4-star forward. Black was actually bailing out here. I don't think he thought he had the kill here. And they're trying to wait out the Aegis the Immortal. Not 100% certain left on that timing of it. In fact, it has another 10 seconds left on the Aegis the Immortal. So Arteezy, Black still wants to find this kill. The Rocket's going to come forward. To get the timing right, it's going to be so difficult. You have to understand that Arteezy can have that regeneration. So the ability to get the attack in just as the regen starts. That would have been pretty genius if they took it, but it still forced EG to come up.
It's still Fnatic making the play and forcing rotation from EG. Whenever EG try to do it, they're unsuccessful, and Fnatic just spreading out across the lanes, putting this kind of pressure. Even if they don't get the kill, they still buy time, and they buy space for their other heroes to farm. And with both Windranger, Slaughter, and Antimage doing as well as they are, I think they're doing better than what they need to in order to win this game. So it's looking very, very good for them come, just say minute 30. Like, if EG don't manage to accomplish anything here, it's only going to get harder.
Yeah. I'm actually just wondering now, like, how EG even get themselves back into this game. Like, you can look towards the initiation of the Clockwork, but I think we've kind of gone over this a hell of a lot, that the fact that Clockwork can't control the team. Like, he can't control Fnatic. There's too many 4-staffs, there's too many blinks away. Once the Manda's up as well from the Anti-Mage, there is no control that Universe really offers to this game. So then do you look towards the Undying? Undying, in fact, Fear is the man now building up the mech for EG. But he's another 450-ish gold away from completing this. It's a long road back. Does it almost have to be a 5-man fight where you understand that your initiation won't be enough, so you just have to be stronger during the team fights, rely on the Requiem of Souls, rely on the Undying Tombstone control, hope that Requiem, Razors, Sonic Wave, they all connect perfectly? Is that the only dream now for EG?
Well, the issue is if they wanted to play some sort of, if they wanted to find pickoffs, that's where Clockwork is great, but as you mentioned, it's just too difficult right now. So yep. I don't really see many other options than farming up, trying to get the next Roshan, and trying to push his 5, and hoping that Arteezy, with his good amount of farm, can still stand up to the Anti-Mage. Because for now, he definitely can. He's building for a Butterfly, which Black will not have an answer for yet. But my issue is still, you've looked at this game over the last 7 minutes, and you can see what EG are trying, and it's just not working. Yep. I don't know, with extra farm, if they even get to the tower at that point. This Fnatic just keeps split pushing them and disallowing them from playing that kind of Dota. Yeah,
that's actually probably the greatest point ever. The fact you got Arteezy, who, as you said, like, he can battle up against the Anti-Mage, but is robbed of the opportunity to do so. So EG, they can't dictate the pace of this game. They can't dictate when the initiations happen. And in fact, Ohio is, again, just looking at Arteezy, and you notice EG's reaction. EG are playing the reactive game. Fnatic initiate, they react. And then Fnatic is like, well, we know we can do this. Ohio is all by himself. Like, the lane is coming up, but sitting just on the edge of the lane. And while all this happens, Black now finishes his full mana style. Arteezy is being pressured, so he's not being able to, like, efficiently farm. And Black is 30 gold of net worth behind him. They are so close at this point. Yeah. EG needs something. They really need something. You can see them itemizing too for that fight. Like the BKB build coming in from the Queen of Pain. This Orchid, maybe that's another question we should also ask. The fact that Sumail, have we seen this Orchid being used once?
I don't think so. maybe one time, but that's it.
If it was used, it wasn't a important moment during the fight. It wasn't, like, maybe now this could be it. Like, Black's a little bit too far out. You got an Invis room from Quap. Support's rotating down. In fact, Mushi remains here, and Queen of Pain just starts over on Mushi, but now you see what happens. The Mana Style pops off, Queen of Pain loses with just really one swing of the anti-mages, 1/3 of her life. She can't stand in the fight. It's just not possible.
And this Orchid was tailored to try to kill off the anti-mage and get them and shut down Black, and it hasn't happened. He's been split pushing very well, farming at the right places at the right time, hasn't died this game, 10 CS a minute. It's just all coming together. And now this Orchid on Quap is going to be very limited in its utility. BKB is now up on Slaughter, won't counter him. Anti-mage with the Manta won't
You
really
control
counter him.
supports is kind of it, but then you just force stuff those heroes away so they can't get damaged.
It's good for killing off the Wind Ranger, though, because Orchiding her so she can't use Wind Run is a very big deal for the Shadow Fiend. But then, again, you still need to play around the Force Staffs for that to happen.
This is the time when you ask the question, like, just how great that 5th ban Disruptor really was, because EG could have really used that Disruptor over the Lich. Then they could have potentially punished, like, aggressive Slaughter plays. You'd have that silence instantly onto the anti-mage that a Mana Style could not break free of. But hindsight. The panel were asking questions about it. They can ask more questions as we'll come back to them after this game. Look at how high. He just doesn't care. Like, he blinks aggressively forward to try and just intimidate this Queen of Pain off. Sumail now does have his BKB. 27 minutes into the game, the BKB has arrived.
He needs to start scaling. By the way, they also talked about that on the panel. Ben said Quap doesn't scale so well. Jacob says he thinks it scales really well. I think the thing that scales a lot with Queen of Pain is her amount of utility once she gets a refresher. That's when it really starts becoming powerful, because you have 2 hexes at that point. Probably you've built a hex, maybe 2 BKBs, 2 Orchids, and the 2 Sonic Waves that deal massive damage. So I'm with Melk on Queen of Pain scaling well, but I don't think Sumail has got the snowball that it takes for Queen to scale well in this game. So he won't reach that point until we're talking like minute 70 or 80 before he really has that fully packed inventory that Queens can sometimes get below the hour. And in this kind of game, you just gotta wonder if Fnatic, they don't actually care. Like, if you guys want to play a 60-minute game, that's okay. Yep.
I think the only thing Fnatic are waiting for is the maximum spawn time on Roshan. And it is the 3 minutes, like the full 3 minutes out of the potential 3. So they are still, like, you've got Mushi and Net who are now acting as, they are support wards at the moment, sitting inside the pit, waiting for the big man to come up. At that point, Black blinks in, he'll end up taking the Aegis Immortal, and this is when they could force out finally that tier 2 tower in mid. But the Clockwork Rocket from EG is there, and this is EG's moment. If they were going to find a way to get back into this game, this is it. And there's the hook shot forward. They're inside Universe. Pops the Blade Mail. How much control they really got with the Tombstone being triggered. You still got to keep your eyes on Roshan, but Universe, he's locked on the hillside. He can't get back down again. The 4-stop's on cooldown. Ned's just bailing out of here. They already lost their anti-mage. The Rubik will drop as well. And EG, that's the big moment right there. They come in, they'll grab Roshan, and there is nothing that Fnatic can do about it.
And this was the perfect set of events that needed to happen for EG. Black tries to go aggressively onto Arteezy using his Manta style. Then Sumail gets the Orchid off and they get that key kill. They get into the Roshan pit and contest. And you gotta ask yourself, Fnatic, they feel confident, they feel in the lead. I don't think they need to go Rosh. I think this is the best chance EG have at coming back in the game, because that is where they get their 5-on-5, or in this case a 4-on-4 essentially, as it was toward the end. Fnatic should just keep split pushing and disallow EG from ever going to the pit. And then they're like, well, we don't get Roshan ourselves, but you know, there are not that many kills happening in this game, so EG will never get the opportunity to do it if Fnatic just keep playing the same game they did for the last 15 minutes.
You're right, and if EG try and force it, then Fnatic just punish it.
Then they can either split push or try to fight them.
Yeah.
But essentially, they gave an amplified damage to EG and were like, hey, you guys can get Roshan fast.
Now they're going to try and get the Aegis Immortal back. Arteezy picked up in that mid lane with Laguna Blade. DJ can't get the check of the launch, and well, with Fear sitting behind him, both Tombstone as well as Solar, there's not that much that Fnatic can do to get the kill. Even when you pop Laguna Blade, it's a level 2 and it doesn't have the Ags upgrade just yet. So yeah, Fnatic, now they sit in a position where they were sitting on about a 6k net worth advantage, and about 6.5k in the experience, and just from that Roshan fight, they've lost the majority of that, especially on the experience.
They're still ahead, though. If EG don't manage to get towers with this, it was a good play from them, and it was definitely necessary for them to get back in a good position in the game.
Yep.
But we still need to see them transition this into some sort of bigger advantage. If this Aegis just expires again, you're buying Fnatic another 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But I don't know if EG can do it.
Ohio, nice jump forward. Universe completely destroyed. Even gets that bash chance out from Slaughter. So Universe down for the count. The attack is on the top lane, and this is what we were looking for before from Fnatic, where you force EG to initiate, you set the trap, you get the kill, you back up. The rotations happen, so you keep finding space here. For DJ, like, he's sitting on 3.9k. He can just work into this Monkey King bar eventually and attack direct, like, onto the Shadow Fiend. No problem. Black again attacking into the tier 3 tower. PPD has to remain. Sumail can't go ganking with this Orchid, so he goes on Black, but Mushi 4-stars forward. There goes your Mana Style. The ledge holding from PPD popped out, but instantly Fnatic, they disengage. Mushi, where's your stuns? There's nothing available. He'll just TP out underneath the EG nose, and Black goes back to farming up the Dark Camp.
So they got a rotation from the Shadow Fiend. They got half a tower, 1/3 of a tower, and they got the BKB of Sumail for nothing. And this is what they can do when the Clockwork is dead, because Black is not scared of getting caught. As long as he holds onto his Manta until the Orchid comes out, EG have no counters. They don't have any secondary silence or stun apart from that Clockwork hook. So it's just not possible for them to punish Black. So it looked, in a lot of games, the nice hook shot.
The 4-staff down by Net instantly went into the TP, and Universe just read it perfectly. Gets the hook shot and gets a little bit of breathing room for EG. A little bit only. Black's already back at that tier 2 tower to try and take it out. And they have to use fortification instantly.
Curious to see how this one plays out.
Well, Black hangs around, but there goes your Mana Style. And then blink away to safety. What does he build into? So you're sitting at 4.8k now. Do you try and go for more survivability? Do you go through the tank? Or is it worth getting a Butterfly knowing that this SF will never really have enough money to buy a full Monkey King bar?
I think Butterfly is a great choice here. It's one of those games where you don't have to worry too much about, like, EG, yes, they have decent spell burst, but of course you have Spell Shield against that, so I think that's enough. And the physical aspect here is indeed coming from that Shadow Fiend, who doesn't want to get MKB right now. And even if he does, and you force him into that build, then that's a slot that doesn't go to another dangerous item.
He ended up going for Heart, so he's going against our
For
logic.
me, it's one of those two. I don't think this is a BKB anti-mage game at all. He might not want to get it the entire game. If he gets it, it should be in a response to the item that Queen of Pain is not getting that I was expecting, Hex. Very surprising for me that Sumail starts into a Shiva's build when it's very apparent that they don't have counters for the AM.
Maybe he's just really worried that this amplification of Slaughter's becoming harder and harder.
Oh yeah, well, and if he gets caught even with a Shiva's by this Slaughter plus AM, he is
True.
dead. I don't think it's enough.
It's going to get worse too once Slaughter finishes up this Assault Cuirass, because it looks like that's what Ohio is building into now. He's got the plate mail on himself at the moment. Like, he could turn this into a Shiva's, but AC just makes more sense when you try and take high ground.
Oh, for sure. AC on Slaughter is incredible. It increases the damage of a Slithering Crush. It's great for the team in general, and like you said, for pushing. It's the standard. This is the old Slaughter build, which is essentially the same as the new Slaughter build, just without the Force Staff. It's tested and proven, just works very well.
Yeah. Oh, Black takes out the tier 2 tower. There's still no fortification for EG, so Black's having a great time. In fact, with the TP rotation coming into the mid lane, he beats into the top tower, forces another TP, and now blinks himself away to safety. If Universe hookshot's up here, he's dead. Because Ohio is right behind him as well as DJ. And DJ's got the rest of that Monkey King bar flying out. It's the double jabbers which are on their way. And that tier 3 tower down to 1/3 of its life.
Aegis expired, and EG did some damage to the bottom tier 2, but still not much. I think their tower damage in the last 20 minutes has been 600. And AM goes again. Oh, this time they're ready, though.
Yeah, but Black, can he get himself out of this one? The Orchid's controlling him. The burn, there it is with the Mana Star. Blinks away, and all that damage, the Heart's going to start to repair. That's the reason why they have to come forward. Nice BKB. Timing from Sumail. Actually dodges it, but DJ carves apart the Queen of Pain. Her wings have been very well clipped. Ohio needs space now. He needs to get away from the vision of Arteezy so he can blink himself out. Goes for the cross, but Arteezy commits the BKB. So he'll get Ohio in return. But, wow, Queen of Pain, fragile as ever, even with the plate mail,
nice
even with
plate
the
mail,
BKB.
Sumail. See, that's the problem. Like, if he gets amped up after BKBing, Windranger or Anti-Mage will just shred him. I was, you know, when you're amped up and there's Focus Fire, I know how much that hurts, but it still surprised me how quickly he dropped. And that's just that MKB build from DJ right now. He died in literally 1 second to Focus Fire. That's got to get you worried as a Queen of Pain player in this kind of game.
It's going to get you worried as EG in general, because now you're almost fully reliant on the Shadow Fiend. The Shackle, oh, that could have been a brilliant Shackle on bottom. But yeah, you lose Sumail that quickly. You have to understand that Arteezy, like Black is playing with him at the moment. He's keeping the attention of EG on the top lane. So the rest of his team can continue to find more and more space. And he's not losing out on anything. Like, he's still farming up the dark jungle while he does this. But he's making it so Arteezy is always pressured, always low on mana. So he can't even go for a Raid and Requiem combo at the moment. It just doesn't exist. There's no mana for it. He has to TP all the way back to base. And where do you go as Arteezy? Like, you've got the Helm, you've got the S and Y, you've got the Butterfly. You need raw damage at this point. Do you just assume the Anti-Mage will go Butterfly as the last one and you need a Monkey King bar? Or do you feel like you can get aggressive enough that you can get the Daedalus out? You ensure a quick kill. Actually, no, he has to go Monkey King bar. He's up against a Wind Ranger, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's multiple purposes for getting an MKB here, but I don't know if it's the choice.
Is he going Skadi?
I think this is Skadi or Hex. Okay, he might be changing his mind. Okay, he's going MKB. He changed his mind to that. So I think it obviously makes sense against the Wind Ranger, and when Anti-Mage gets a Butterfly, it's great. I just don't know if it's enough damage. And I'm saying that when I'm looking at a Shadow Fiend with 350 damage, I still don't know if it's going to cut it. If he has to sacrifice his lifesteal eventually to get another damage item, or his S and Y, and then just use the Butterfly for the move speed in the fight. Because yes, if he gets to lanes to this Wind Ranger, it's great. But you know Fnatic's response. This is not the kind of game where you go in with BKB Shadow Fiend, you just start hitting stuff and they can't respond. They can amplify you and just focus fire you down. And I don't know if Arteezy has the tools here. It's a very difficult Shadow Fiend game, in my opinion, in general, when you get to this point.
So it's difficult for Shadow Fiend. Queen of Pain dies in a fraction of a second, and the Clockwork is out control. The Lich ulti does almost nothing to the cause of Fnatic, because even Slardr's just shy of 2k, but the Anti-Mage has 2.7k plus having that resistance. I'm not certain the path. You've even got the Null Field to amp, to stack on top.
That's true. We haven't talked so much about that. It's level 2 right now, so
hence not much reason to flag it. And Mushi's still sitting on 2.2k. He can buy his Blink Dagger now. So you got Blink Force over on Mushi. His controls now just gone through the roof. Mushi can sit at the back lines, wait for the hookshot to come, and then do the counter initiation.
And on EG, the item progression on other heroes than Arteezy just doesn't really seem to be there. They have a medallion on the Lich, and this time Fnatic get away with the Roshan.
Oh, this time they're a lot quicker about it. Maybe Black is a little over-aggressive, goes to the meta and then blinks himself. Okay, that's 4 heroes.
No, that's a good point to the courier. Nice. Thank you very much.
Gold secured. So EG had 4 heroes, they had 1 Anti-Mage underneath their tier 3 tower.
They need this Hex.
They really do. They really do. But what can you do as a Queen of Pain? Like, you need the Hex instead of the Orchid, really.
Yeah, kind of. In a way, this is the kind of game where you want to go Hex, but I don't blame him for getting the Orchid. He got it at 17 minutes. It was at a time in the game where it could have really paid off, but they didn't find the openings. And now it looks like a poor choice, but at that time, it was probably the best he could get.
Oh, they're getting split so hard. Black, like, he Shadow Striked up. He's finishing up the tower. You can just tell he's just grab and throw away. Now Black, he's still holding the Manta. He doesn't see a reason to trigger it just yet. The Heart's going to just heal him back up again. But this is a great play from Fnatic. So they understand they just creep skip out the wave on top. So this momentum that EG have on top doesn't count for squat. Fnatic keep the pressure on mid with the other 4 heroes, and Black just a blink away from joining them. Even Rubik, like you can see Mushi, the second he realized that Black might be in trouble, he blinks, he 4-staffs up, and he just telekinesis throws back EG. So Black with 1 more hit will take out the tower. In fact, PPD's going to deny it, and now Black, he mistimed with the Manta Style, so he does get Orchid, but Mushi's still there with a 4-staff. And when the illusion's causing trouble, EG's not ready. The Wind Ranger takes out the tier 3 tower in mid, and this is just a surgical attack. They need another 4-staff because these cogs, actually no, he's stolen by Mushi, pushing Universe back. He didn't find the control position against the Anti-Mage.
EG are getting all lanes pushed in. They can't find a way to engage fights. Oh, Ohio trying here for Arteezy, maybe trying to bait the BKB out, but
that's the second time he's trying to go for a very aggressive blink, but he comes short. So he understands that EG are walking back up the stairs, but he blinks to just the short, onto the stairs. So I think you're right. I think he's just trying to bait that BKB. At this point, well, they're probably going to get it off. Arteezy, he's still holding on to his. The Lich Hold is going to be pushing Fnatic back. The bouncer to continue, and then a 1-hit pass. Wow, I can't get any better for here for Sumail. As now DJ, that's a good way to do it. Arteezy, the Monkey King bar, going to work 3 hits to bring down the Wind Ranger. Black could not finish up the top right. The fortification will stop him, but more support has arrived. Ohio getting orchided up. Got to get himself away. Universe, no hook shot. 1 second on cooldown. Now he can let it rip if he feels the moment is right. But he needs a good target, and he finds one. It's over towards the Slaughter. With the blade mail up, Ohio, he's actually standing here, taking the damage, taking the hits, and he will end up dying here. He knew it. EG knew it, but EG lost their top range racks, and they lost their mid-range racks for that engagement.
I still think that was a good hold. They forced out Cheese, Aegis, got 2 kills, and did not lose melee barracks. This was very, very good by EG. The question is just if it's enough, but the way they distributed their heroes and moved around and engaged on multiple fronts while under this kind of pressure, it's very difficult to play in that situation.
Yeah.
And they still made it work.
You're right, it could have been a terrible trade for EG. I think there's also a lesson to be learnt now for DJ. Like, that SF destroyed him. That SF has the damage now. The SF is, as you were also pointing out, kind of like max slotted until he finishes the Satanic. He's kind of done. But this wind range has got more space. In fact, the wind range is still going as a glass cannon. Arteezy, this is very aggressive from him. There's no Aegis to the Immortal, and there's no support. He's going to die on bottom lane. 90 seconds on the sideline for a tier 2 tower on the bot.
They still have to, they have to start making some sort of progress on the map. I think it's a completely understandable play. He doesn't get away. He gets surprised by the rotations of Fnatic there. The surprising thing for me was that EG didn't protect it. Not that he went for the push. I think that was totally understandable. But yeah, no protection for him there. Big kill. And Fnatic, they might be able to force a buyback there this time.
Well,
minute. Yeah, they definitely will.
Ned's already moving for it. Like, they're ready to do as much damage as they want to. I should be more concerned for this Queen of Pain getting shackled at the moment on the top lane, because if this works with that Daedalus,
that's without amplified damage.
Yep, and he had to buy back the TP. Actually, the buyback comes out from the SF. PPD gets shredded in the mid lane. And it's now Fnatic. They start their attack onto the tier 3 tower. The Tombstone's already down in black. He knows there's no fortification, so beats into the melee racks. Universe, what's going to be stolen? It's just going to be the Cogs, but Ohio gets the bash as well. Another buyback now coming out from Sumail. And Fnatic, they get 2 buybacks. They have Black attacking up on the top. And all they have to do is just retreat. They're forcing such an economic damage to EG that, like, they don't have to force the issue. It's their game to lose right now. And they'll lose it by giving opportunities to EG. Yeah, wait for the pickoffs. You're almost getting an Abyssal Blade over on Black. Then they've got the moment.
Oh, he should buy it right now.
Even if you do get a Satanic over on the SF, it's still not going to be enough for Arteezy, because he can't have guaranteed time to attack and lifesteal back up.
And what you need now, you just need a pick on Quap or SF, and the game is essentially over. Because both of them have buybacks on very long cooldowns for 5 minutes each.
Hook shot.
Here we
Universe comes in a long way. They want that kill on DJ. The 4-stars giving him some space, but not enough. Mushi also blinked himself into this fight. Gets destroyed by Arteezy, but meanwhile on the northern front, you've got Black attacking into that melee racks and forcing the TPs back. Arteezy's BT is really coming in handy for situations like that. Instant reactions from the big DPS of EG.
Right, Mushi seemed a little bit slow on that 4-step play too. I thought he was going to just walk in and help... why is his name eluding me? DJ. Help DJ right away there, but it took him a second to get in and get the 4-step out. And by that point, they had dealt enough damage that DJ couldn't get away from it. So a little bit of a freebie here for EG. 40 seconds on Wind Ranger should give them another tier 2 mid, most likely. As well, once again, they're not with Arteezy, and they're scared of their top lane. So Black is doing his duty here, and this is essentially defending mid lane by aggressive.
This kind of feel like if you look back at what Nagas used to do when they run on the Radiant side against the Dire, you just keep firing up the Dire side, you send illusions forward, you take out the top, you keep forcing the TPs back. So even though you have these big teams which may have amazing levels of team fight, you never really get the opportunity to show what you got. And now it looks like EG want to try and force it. They do have the push on bottom lane that can come out from Ohio, and Ohio's really scared because he's not seeing enough of EG. In fact, EG are going to smoke in the mid lane and look for an opportunity. The Observe Ward scouts out the fact that Anti-Mage is farming up for the Ancients, but Ohio still is not showing himself on the bottom lane.